Hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Understanding Your Health. My name is Todd Scarborough, along with Dr. Tom Butler. And Tom, it's always good to see you. And we have a ton of fun. We stay real loose and light on this show, folks. Don't worry, we're not going to get real heavy here, I promise. In fact, we try to go into basic understanding of the health of your body, the mental side of things, and then try to bring it down into, again, country boy analogies like I always try to do, and that way people can understand it. But the topic of today's show, you ever had your mother say, sit up straight? Don't lean over. Don't slouch. You're slouching. My mother used to say that to me all the time. I think all mothers, there's mantras with your mother. Make sure you have clean underwear on.
That's right.
Sit up straight, make sure you comb your hair, all those things.
That's right.
And that's mother's jobs, but the one thing that when she said sit up straight, I think the main reason mothers say sit up straight because they want you to look good, that you're slouching. They don't want you to slouch. But also too, Tom, and of course Tom being a chiropractor, and he and I, it's interesting here because Tom it told me one time that because I love to sleep on my stomach, I sleep on my belly. I know he's cringing. See, that's what he did when I told him. He said you must sleep on your back. I cannot sleep on my back. It's so hard for me to fall asleep. But posture and everything that we do, Tom, and you look at what people and what happens, and I know you see this, they tend to take on a posture that exacerbates that problem that they're having, distorts further just because they're riding the distortion. They're trying to ride around it or get comfortable around it. That's the last thing they should do, right? I mean, you
don't give in to the impulse.
Yes.
You have to force back against it.
But sitting, and we, the one thing that we do as Americans, and I think our biggest problem is that we do tend to sit a lot. We used to never do that much sitting as much as we do now 50 years ago because we had more physical labor than just sitting behind a desk. But there are postures that you suggest that help us not only eradicate those problems but keep us from going there in the first place. And I know with me, I do a lot of driving, I do a lot of sitting, and I find myself before long, and I'm slouched over, sitting in the wrong position. Next thing I know, my back is hurting. And why? Because it has nothing to do with anything I've done other than the fact that I'm not sitting right.
That's correct.
So talk to us a little bit. I'm sure you see percentage-wise, 90% of your patients probably make mistakes along this line, right? Or is it 100%?
Well, there's all the professions. So let's say there's 2,000, just for want of a number. The top one I see is truck drivers who load and unload the truck. The next one is truck drivers. And then the third one below that is office people that lift, but they also sit for a long period of time. And then behind that's like this terrible but wealthy people that don't have a job, so they sit a lot. So there we are, folks. Out of all those professions, here we go. So and some of these suggestions are so simple you'll think, well, I already knew that, but I like saying this to my patients just so I can talk to myself too. It's like, see, I don't have my wallet in my pocket, so don't sit on your wallet.
Pretty simple there.
Pretty simple, right?
Yes.
The other thing, though, is, as you noticed, you sit pretty good when you first get in your car.
Yes.
Don't you?
Yes.
But as you ride, the one leg sticks out, your one hand will go drifting from one part of the steering wheel, the other arm will go different. So if you can, try to sit more erect. And with a lot of the vehicles, I have them put like a more lumbar support. And the newer cars are getting better. But then we have them hold the steering wheel a little lower just so you can keep it relaxed. And
interesting there. Instead of 10 and 2 o'clock like they normally tell you, it's more anatomically correct to hold it this way, isn't it?
Yeah, and especially if you can keep them the same, because you're holding your wrists in a better proper.
Right. And then here the radius and ulna are crossed, and then you're trying to hold it up. You're holding, and then that puts a lot of stress on the neck. So that taught me a lot just in 10 seconds. The mistake I've made for 20 plus years. No wonder I'm hurting all the time, Tom. But it is something, again, folks, that we need to learn. That's why we want to cover these. And there's times that people on these shows, they'll kind of go, wow, they're covering setting and the proper way of setting. How often do you hear a health show talking about the proper form as far as the way you sit in your car and your desk. And I'm telling you, it will help you a lot. So we're going to come back from the break, and Tom's going to show us not only some exercises later on the show, but also postures that you can assume and get into when you're setting that's going to help you eradicate not only some of the problems you're having as far as the pain, but also in turn keep you from getting there in the first place. That's what prevention. It's pay me now, pay him later, whichever one you want to do. And it keeps him in business, folks. I promise you, he does a lot of good for me. So hang on, we'll be back from the break, and Tom will take over with some posture ideas when we return on this edition of Understanding Your Health.